Welcome to a brand new episode of The Fight Lounge. I'm your host, RJ Mees. And on this episode, I'm going to break down and give my prediction for the upcoming heavyweight bout between former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos versus Francis Ngannou. It's been a while since I have done a prediction episode, but I'm going to bring it back because this week is this heavyweight bout. Next week is the big UFC event, UFC 239, headlined by Jon Jones and Amanda Nunes. So I'm definitely going to do a prediction for that one as well. So expect more prediction shows. As well, we have Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman this late July. So this is the first of many prediction shows to come. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the breakdown of this fight. This is a unofficial number one contender match for the UFC heavyweight championship, meaning whoever wins between Junior and Francis becomes the number one contender, and I believe they will fight the winner between Daniel Cormier versus Stipe 2. Seeing that both fighters realize that they are just one fight away from a championship match, I believe we will see the best Junior Santos and Francis Ngannou. Francis, aka the Predator, I don't know that name for various reasons, but he's currently on a 2-fight winning streak with both wins coming under a minute in the first round. That's one thing about Francis Ngannou. If you stand up with him, more likely you're going to sleep. Unfortunately, he put on 2 bad performances against Stipe and against Derek Lewis. But since those horrible performances, and it was, we can't even sugarcoat it. It was awful. A lot of people have noticed that, unfortunately, the UFC is pushing young stars. They push Sage Northcutt, Paige Van Zam, Darren Till, and Francis Ngannou. When he got the Stipe fight, it was too fast, too soon. Now, can you blame him? Every person they put in front of him, he knocked out. But it's one thing about boxing, like they do mature the boxers. Not outside the ring, but inside the ring. There are championship level boxers now, but they won't even get a title shot in the next 2 years because they know they got they need some more experience. They need to sharpen the tools more. And I think that's what we see with Francis. I think it was way too fast, too soon. And to me, I think he froze up in the moment. In the Derek Lewis fight, I don't know, man. He just wasn't throwing. Like, I don't think he froze up. I think he saw everything crumbling him. He wasn't getting backed by the UFC. He probably started seeing less and less fans, probably less and less yes men. He just blew a championship opportunity. And thankfully, when he, fought Curtis Blade, Rowdy hit, I think if Francis beats Dos Santos, I don't think we see another bad performance like he did against Stipe. And now, let me talk about Junior Santos, who is Francis' opponent. He is a former UFC heavyweight champion. Unfortunately, in my eyes, I don't look at you as a champion unless you have defended it at least once. And Dos Santos knocked out Cain Velasquez, but they did a rematch immediately, and he lost to Cain. And Dos Santos never quite has been the same. And counting when he won it, and he had 2 other fights against Cain, and he lost both of those fights. And then the 4th one was when he fought Stipe for the championship, and Stipe actually knocked him out. That was a bad loss. Overing also knocked out Dos Santos. I thought Dos Santos was finished. And if you know anything about the UFC, to be elite is literally a small window. Like Alexander Gustafsson, his elite was small. Like his to me, his run began with Jon Jones 1, And to me, it ended right when he fought Daniel Cormier. That's when he was top 5 of the UFC light heavyweight division. But then injuries happened, and then he had some bad losses happen, and now you see that he's retired. And the window of elite is that short. However, Dos Santos has bounced back, and he's currently on a 3-fight winning streak. He beat Derrick Lewis, and so I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, do you guys think Dos Santos should have a 5th shot at the title? Because I think at this point, and again, to have that many title shots, he is a great fighter. But let's say if he fights Stipe again, he loses again, that means 1 championship won out of 5 tries. That's not very good percentage at all. Which is why I think some people will love to see Francis take another crack, since Junior has already had 4 chances previously and he won it once. Francis was on the bad side of Dana White after his Stipe performance and their Lewis performance, and so for Francis to make Dana White believe in him again, he's going to have to put on a stellar performance this Saturday. I think that's one thing that's missing, because after his 2 duds, Dana White was done with him. He washed his hand. That's why he fought Curtis Blaze. And then they say, well, let's see you fight Cain Velasquez, And to his credit, every person who they put in front of him he has knocked out. But let's say if Francis put on another bad performance, I do not see Dana White putting him in a top shot. And so now, since I have broke down the fights, I'm going to give my prediction. This is strangely, Francis and Junior Dos Santos have been talking a lot about ground game and black belt and jiu-jitsu. And I'm hoping this fight does not go on the ground. These two are great strikers. Like I said, Junior Dos Santos is one of the best strikers in the history of the UFC heavyweight division. Like, he's top 3. And Francis is just a knockout artist. So to see these guys going to the ground, and that's on both parts. Like Francis talking about taking Junior down, and Junior talking about taking down Francis. And I understand, because neither wants to get hit with the other's bomb. But like I just got on talking, if Francis puts on another stinky performance, then White's not going to trust him to put in a main event against a Cormier or against a Stipe, So I hope this doesn't go to the ground. Like, if it's a exciting ground and pound, then that's different. But I don't. If it do go on the ground, I just don't see it. I don't. If you saw the Stipe fight, Francis has 0 ground game. Like, when Stipe did take Francis to the ground, Francis had no idea how to get back up. Now he didn't get finished, but he had no idea. And to credit, we don't know Dos Santos' ground game. He rarely takes people down. He rarely has submission victories. So I'm hoping that this stays standing. And no reason, because this is on ESPN. This won't be on ESPN Plus, which is great. So now it is time for my prediction. I'm going to pick Francis the Predator Ngannou as the winner. I really hope this doesn't go on the ground, because it'll be a boring fight. The fans in the arena is gonna boo. A lot of people who's watching ESPN is gonna change the channel. So I'm hoping it's not that. I hope it's a stand-up war, And again, Junior Dos Santos has been knocked out before. And so far, Francis has not. And I just don't see Dos Santos knocking out Francis. Not yet. So I'm hoping this is a stand-up war. If we get 3 excellent rounds, that's fine. It doesn't always have to be, 1 round KOs. But if it's stand up, I'm going with Francis, and he will put on a much better performance than he did against Derek Lewis or CBA the first time. And who will Francis face after Junior Dos Santos? We will have to wait, because Daniel Cormier is fighting Stipe a second time, which should have happened. He should have fought Cormier immediately versus Derek Lewis. But that's because Derek Lewis said his boss was hard, and he had some catchphrases. That's why he had that fight. But that's a topic for another day. I don't know, because if Cormier wins, he really just want to fight Jon Jones. I mean, he do and he don't, because he knows in his heart he can't beat Bones. That's why he said, I want to beat Brock Lesnar. And then Brock Lesnar isn't coming over anytime soon. So if Cormier retires, do you have Stipe versus Francis, for the vacant title? Or do you have Francis versus, another opponent, to be announced later in the year? I don't know, but if Francis puts on an impressive performance, I guarantee he'll be the number one contender, because the only person who would jump in front of Francis will be Jon Jones or Brock Lesnar. And I don't see Brock coming to UFC anytime soon. It doesn't make sense for Jones to come to heavyweight, because it's going to be the same results, except they be heavier. That's the only difference. And that would do it for today's episode. Like I said, I have Francis Ngannou coming out with the victory. I didn't pick around because with all this talk of ground game and black belts and all that, I got a feeling Junior is going to shoot for a lot of takedowns at round 1. And then round 2 and 3, maybe, Junior just stops. He has trades and bangs and try not to get knocked out. And Francis could win by points, And again, I have not seen Francis get knocked out yet. And I don't think Dos Santos is going to be the first one. Just don't. And so, that will do for this episode. Next week, I will be breaking down and giving my preview for UFC 239. I forgot Ben Askren is also on that card. So it's going to be a pretty stacked card, man. That previous show is going to take a while. I probably won't break down, or I will break down, but I won't go in depth on each fight on a card like this one. If I did, it would be like 20 plus minutes or something. But if you enjoyed this episode, please give this video a like, comment below, share it, and of course subscribe if you listen to my YouTube channel. If you listen to this on podcast or SoundCloud, also follow us and subscribe to us. That would do it. I want to pull up my YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Fight Lounge. I try to update daily content that's related to UFC, boxing, MMA, Bellator, etc. So that would do it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.